Cheers, mix, click, and code with BoozyBrowsing, sipping and fixing the web one cocktail at a time.
All right, welcome everyone. So today we have, I'm going to mess up your last name, but Nick Nikiforakis.
Very good.
Greek, I assume?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so Nick reached out to us, or to me, I don't know, a month ago, and then I failed to respond to him. He's got a really cool topic. He's been following us a little bit, but he's in the security space. He's an associate professor over at Stony Brook. So Meeky and I are also used to be from New York, so we know the area. If you don't, it's North Midtown New York. How do you define where Stony Brook? Or actually, it's up, right?
Yeah, I would say about it. I usually explain it as an hour and a half out of New York. That's
meeting
to the right.
Maybe. I was an hour and a half to the left, so I'm up in New Jersey. Yeah, so you teach obviously security, but computer science type courses as well, right? Yeah, so you reached out, and we were chatting about his topic. I'm one of those that like really like security topics, but I'm not like a security guy. So I like to hear about it and learn. So I was really interested. Like you asked, like maybe would you be okay on this? Like this would be great. Like I'm sure both of us would love to learn from you. So we get like a free lesson.
I know. That's awesome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you're not going to drink because you have a class tonight.
That's right. I have a cup of coffee right here.
So you can just coffee if you'd like. We are going to do our intros because that's part of the game. So I ended up going with a whiskey today. So I'm going with, it's called Michter's. It's out of Kentucky. We'll bring up the site as we talk about it, but it is it's a non-blended whiskey. If anyone knows about whiskeys. So it's straight from whatever barrel it is and cut down a little bit. So I'll be sipping that.
All right, I'll go with so I don't know if you guys saw this water bottle that looked like this. I used to drink that, and when I saw this bottle, I was like, "Oh, they have wine."
Is that Bossa? Was that the company?
Yeah, I think it's the same company. It's like Italian water company, but like I used to like the bottle, but that was plastic bottle for the water. So I used to drink that, and then like it's kind of like a little more expensive than usual because it's the water bottle design. But when I saw this, I'm like, is this the water bottle? I was like, oh, they have wine. So I had to grab it. And
you can drink a whole bottle today.
Yeah.
We're
I do actually
anything about security until we rewatch the video.
I'm not going to drink a whole bottle. But actually, I need to introduce another snack. It's one of my husband's find when he went to 7-Eleven and he saw this, like I had to grab it. And it gave it to me. I just cracked up laughing. Sharkalicious gummy.
Sharkalicious?
So it's a Shaquille O'Neal head.
You introduce these snacks and stuff, but then you don't eat them. So I don't know if that really counts.
Well, I'll try to eat it. If I get drunk enough, I might eat it. Anyways, that's my drink.
I guess Shaq must be getting a cut out of these gummies, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he gets like a cut out of almost anything. Like he's on a bunch of commercials too.
Yeah. Anyways.
So again, you have an interesting topic specifically around something you guys are rolling out as well, but some of your research. So I don't know if you want to kind of do a quick high level and then we can ask some questions, stuff like that.
Sure.
Kind of the same thing we talked about.
Sure. Yeah. I can give you kind of a quick background. So I work in cybersecurity and like 99% of what we do is web security. Anything related to both how attackers are trying to compromise web applications and users through social engineering attacks, but also kind of what defenses the web applications themselves can roll out to essentially defend against attacks. So that's pretty much, the research that we do with my students at Stony Brook. And like I mentioned to you yesterday during our quick chat, there's been this interesting topic that we keep encountering again and again and again. And the first time I ever encountered this was in 2012, actually. So this is now 12 years later or 13 years later. That has to do with residual trust and domain names and content integrity. I don't know if you want me to keep going or if you just want to ask me questions.
I don't think a lot of people are going to So I didn't at first until you described
Okay.
what that is. I mean, it's basically if someone, one thing the way you talked about, like someone takes over a domain, and that could be validly, like they bought it, or maliciously.
Exactly. So
your own things.
We can start maybe with an analogy in the real world. I don't know if either of you had this experience where you get a new phone number, you set it up, it's brand new to you, but you suddenly get calls or texts that seem to are going to someone else, right? And this is because the phone companies are actually reusing phone numbers, right? When someone stops being a subscriber, the number returns to the pool of available numbers, and they just eventually give it out to someone else down the line. So that's kind of one good analogy to the problem that we wanted to discuss today. And another one has to do with kind of moving. So again, you move to a new house, you bought a new house or you rent a new place, and you get mail that is addressed to someone else, right? It's the right address, but it seems to indicate that it's towards, who used to live there, right? Rather than who lives there now. And so we understand this problem in the real world, but my point is that the exact same problem exists on the web, where you can essentially establish a link from your site to my website today, but you have no guarantees about what content I will serve on this website tomorrow, or even if the domain itself and the page itself will be available 2 weeks later, 2 months later, or 2 years later. So essentially all our links on the web are these, we're pointing to boxes, but we're not pointing to the thing inside the box, right? And so whoever gets to control the box gets to control the link itself. And you can, by compromising the server, or by, as you said, Matt, by essentially observing which domains expired, and then you can re-register them, you can essentially hijack existing links from websites. And you can do whatever you want essentially with the links and with the users that come from these links over to you.
Yeah, I think like we talked about also yesterday, we talked about, this is kind of a pseudo way of doing that. Like when an open source project was taken over, a JavaScript open source project was taken over, there were some issues around it. So it was on Mac CDN, some CDN that was overseeing it, but it was still pointing to that project. And you had multiple websites that are utilizing that library. And then unbeknownst to them, it was taken over. And I know this is actually happening in like node projects also. Like
right.
That's not front end development, but that's like when you're pulling in packages and stuff.
Exactly.
It's all based on it's based on domains.
That's right. Yeah. So at some point you establish trust towards a remote something. And then later down the line, that trust is violated because someone else gets to control the thing that you link to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are familiar with this around just broken links. We talked about this, right? Like that's what most people are concerned about. Oh, there's broken links now. I got to fix the broken links, broken images, broken actual URLs. But then when we started talking, it's like, your product obviously is for security. It's like, well, that makes total sense because of course, if someone's going to redirect a link for content links, they're always going to redirect like JavaScript files to something malicious.
Exactly.
If they take over the domain or
exactly,
in various ways.
That first study that we have conducted, 12 years ago, we had mapped essentially the trust relationships of the 500 most popular sites on the internet in terms of JavaScript. So if you are, let's say, CNN.com, who do you pull JavaScript from, right? What sort of remote servers do you trust? And essentially, we were doing supply chain security, but before we had the term supply chain security, right? And what we were trying to gauge is whether you can actually attack these popular sites, not directly, but indirectly through essentially, the JavaScript that they're choosing to pull in dynamically on the front end. And at the time, we actually found, I don't remember, it was 5 or 10 or 12 of these most popular sites being affected to expired domain names. So at some point, they had trusted some remote service for JavaScript. That remote service went belly up. They never observed it, found it. It never sort of broke their workflow in some meaningful way. And so now all that an attacker had to do is essentially, go over to Namecheap or GoDaddy, pay $10, get that expired domain name, and now suddenly start delivering malicious JavaScript to these pre-existing links, right, on these super popular websites. So you essentially get XSS attacks, cross-site scripting on the most popular sites with tens of millions of users for the price of a domain name.
And I could imagine there's a whole like ecosystem of services out there, not competing with you, but on the opposite side, on the black hat type side of things, where they're accumulating all these domains and knowing, like constantly testing them, knowing how many sites are using them. As soon as they go out, they're like,
yeah, exactly, doing the opposite. Yeah,
or even trying to buy them.
Yeah,
potentially, right?
You're right. So there's an entire kind of cottage industry. Maybe you guys know about this already, kind of called drop catching. Are you familiar with that?
Not the term.
So it's pretty much people who are waiting for domain names to drop. So the very last part of a domain's life cycle is the 5-day period before a domain goes back to general availability. And essentially you have entire companies that are waiting to snipe the most valuable of the domain names that are dropping to the second. And then they do this for SEO reasons, for potentially malicious reasons, right? Because they have established that someone important is trusting this domain for something, right? And by essentially, if you're the first one to grab it, you will be able to abuse this, established trust relationship. So as you said, the opposite definitely exists in multiple ways. People waiting for the right stuff to drop.
Yeah, I mean, we're waiting for a domain specific to our domain. Long time.
Okay, but you will use it for yes, you will do something good with it. You will do something good with it, right?
Actually,
We
I
also
had that
like the correct spelling of our name, but that's a lot harder word, I think.
I had that similar experience because I actually lost one of my domains. Yes, it was one of those like a blog site that we had a while ago, but it was pretty popular in that niche industry. But we weren't really maintaining it, so we were kind of like just renewing it for a while, and then like it was weird that I think I was a little busy during the time that it was supposed to renew. As soon as it dropped, like it got public, like, someone bought it,
Exactly.
and I couldn't get it back. So like some of the things that are connected to it, we literally have to go through to make sure that it's unlinked everywhere.
Exactly, right? So pretty much if you just let it by itself, whoever was linking to that site of yours now would still be linking to it, but under the control of the new owner, right? Who could do whatever he wanted, with his existing links.
Yeah. This may or may not be related. I'm interested in the research that your students do. Like, what type of things do they come up with on their own topics? I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah. It's a blend. So typically, the best case scenario is that when you have a grad student who's starting out, you sort of give them a project. And then again, the best case scenario is that over time, over the next 4 or 5 years, that's sort of the typical duration of a PhD in the US, they will, at the end of this, get more and more autonomous. So hopefully at the end, they are, kind of let's say, a world expert in a very niche topic in cybersecurity. And hopefully they know much more about that topic than I do, right? Because they sort of, they have been tracking that topic for 5 years. So that's sort of the general process. And I can tell you specifics.
Are some of them building like tools for penetration testing, like Weebly and stuff?
Yeah, we do a lot of kind of measurement stuff. So we build tools for that. I can give you, I'll tell you, it's because it's related to today's topic. We are publishing a study at the end of this year where we evaluated the security of archiving services like the Wayback Machine and others. And we essentially showed that attackers are able to change their own history on Wayback servers.
Really?
Yes. So yeah. So when we do this actually for 8 or 10 popular archiving services, the idea is that when when the Wayback Machine comes to your site to index to archive it, they essentially grab all the content and then they have to rewrite it to make it self-contained, right? So any kind of CSS, any images, any JavaScript that you were pulling, they try to essentially rewrite all of these links to make it self-contained, right? So what you can do as an attacker is you can game this. So you can identify what are the limitations of this rewriting process. And one of the attacks that we discuss in that paper is where you can escape the rewriting. So you are essentially able to get the archive to ignore one of these remote references. So now the Wayback Machine is serving a page that is 99% rewritten, but 1% is actually leaking to the live web. So at any point in time in the future, I can essentially put some JavaScript there that when loaded into the archive page completely rewrites this. So, and you can do essentially very powerful stuff with that. If you were against candidate A, now you can be for candidate A, right? If you were wrong with your financial projections, now you can fix them. So it's a very, very powerful attack. And kind of not all of them, but the majority of the archiving services that we evaluated actually suffer from it. Yeah. So that's I'm proud of this paper, and I'm proud of the title of this also. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. So the first part of the title, sort of where I get to be creative, is the power to never be wrong. So that is the
right. It makes sense.
That is the part of the title of this new paper.
1984 coming true.
That's right.
Able
That's
to
right.
rewrite
Exactly.
digital history.
Exactly.
Wow. That's very cool. So I went ahead and signed up. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I went ahead and signed up. Meeky, I put it on our website just to see if, and I'm going to do a screen share because you can walk us through this a little bit. Because obviously I plugged some stuff in. It looked fine. And this morning you pinged me. I was like, yeah, I didn't set everything up. Oh.
Speaking of security, while you're pulling that up, I saw that link, invitation sent to my email. I had no context to it. And I'm like, who used my email to sign up something? I was like, immediately, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. So I'm in our dashboard. We have it's just our site, right? And luckily, I mean, we do clean our site up fairly, and we're not a big site. So I didn't, I hoped for not. I'm sure I expected like some broken links, and I think we'll still find some and things like that. But it's pretty interesting. Just the concept of, again, and just to talk this through from a fresh perspective, I went onto the site, I signed up, I ended up with some JavaScript, obviously, because that's one thing you didn't describe is that you're not scanning the site. So we're adding a JavaScript file on here. And then as end users look at my site, you're getting the real kind of rendered version of all the JavaScript files, which is the more realistic case of like someone injecting things. Because I've seen a lot of attacks done on sites that you go to look at it, it's like, I see nothing.
You're right.
Randomly or whatever, they then inject things based on other people's users. Like if I'm logged in, now all of a sudden I get this thing that then logs them into it, stuff like that, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. Throwing this in JavaScript, and then it's the true rendered version.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's collecting. I'm going to just click through, and then you can tell us where to go. But like I can go here and I can see that there's 20 quote unquote policy violations. I look through these. Most of them are, there's some new ones since I looked at it. So there's probably some broken links. Again, a low ranking website. Like, well, we're going to have to review some of these. Some of them are like our site. Like there's some redirect stuff going on here. So obviously I trust Google. Totally fine. I can flag that. But if it was some other site, I would want to look at it. It's interesting because I actually see these, which are only going to show up when I'm logged in, because I was going through the site when I'm personally logged in. So again, that's like admin access, because who knows what someone could add if they compromise the real site.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, we don't have to do a product demo, that's for sure. But
yeah,
like
I mean, maybe we can. Yeah, I think we sort of jumped to the product without actually kind of, saying.
No, go for it.
So the tool that you're showing is called Link Sentry, and essentially we are a link auditing SaaS. And so pretty much based on what we're discussing so far, we allow users to continuously audit the external links on their website. And from a point of view, maybe like in your case, you guys are a web agency, you have your own clients, you can actually deploy this on 20, 100, 500 of your clients. And then every day you can essentially get different alerts for different sites, right? And you can also set policies that say, okay, for this website is sort of a highly critical website, I will be much more strict with it than I will be with this one that's just like someone's calling card but on the web. And so what you're showing now is essentially the kind of continuous violations that Link Sentry is finding based on the policies that you have turned on.
Bring it down to very dumbed down versions. So what are the things it's looking for, and why is it important that people need to look out for this?
Right. So essentially, this is related to our earlier conversation. The general idea is that you have two types of problems that we can identify. The first one is links that were once good, but are no longer good. And the older your site is, the more links you have essentially accumulated, right? So you have blogs that have blog posts for like 10, 12 years written by tens of bloggers. You can have contractors, subcontractors, people who were fired. Some were including JavaScript from over here. Some were sending were doing anchor links over there. So my claim is that pretty much no one has this good overview of what it is that they're linking to, right? And so what Link Sentry does is it essentially first provides this to you. It uses your own users to map your link surface and tell you that, okay, across all of your site, you are linking to these, 150 external places. And based on these, then you can turn on policies that say, okay, there are things that I don't want to happen with my links. And when these policies are violated, then you get an alert from us. It is an email or a Slack integration, or you can see it on the dashboard itself. And so, I mean, if Matt can go back to the dashboard, if you click on policies there on the left, there you can essentially see the policies that we support. So you can say, okay, warn me when a link is broken, or warn me when you have a cross-domain redirection. So I have a link, let's say, that is pointing to food.com, but when I visit it, it redirects you to bar.com. That is a weird thing, right? Why is that happening? So we will flag this. You can detect low-ranking websites, which is one of the violations that Matt showed earlier. So you can put a threshold that says, for this specific client on this specific website, I don't want them to be linking to anything unpopular, right? And so if you turn that on and if you put in a threshold in the policy settings, you will get an alert that says, hey, someone is linking to a thing that is not in the top 500,000 sites of the web. And we have, if you look through this, we have essentially violations for TLS errors, like a self-signed certificate, an expired certificate, a wrong host certificate, unencrypted links, like if you have HTTP links instead of HTTPS links, we will flag these. And you can put even block lists. You can say, I don't want to be linking to Russia. I don't want to, right? And this will actually enforce this for you. You will get an alert if and when one of your links ever, is resolving to a Russian IP address.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that a technical person has to be? Do you have to be technical to use this tool, or is it more non-technical people friendly as well?
I implemented it, Meeky. How technical am I? Joking.
So if we have done our job well, then
Yeah.
everyone should be able to implement this, because essentially all you have to do is you have to drop a little bit of JavaScript on your page. Most of the CMSs like WordPress, Joomla, and so on make it very easy for you to just take a snippet and say, put this, on my site, and then you're done. You just essentially look at the violations that you get according to your needs. And then you act upon them. So when we were designing the tool, we took this conscious decision that we wanted to be an alerting tool. So if there is a link that is violating one of your policies, we don't try to remove it. We don't do stuff to it. We just tell you about it, right? So we never break anyone's website because we don't change anyone's website. We just map the links, and then we tell you which of them are policy violating links.
So does this once you get let's say you get alerted, does it tell you which one's more severe
Yes.
or the other ones, and then
Yes,
how to
that's right.
resolve?
Yes. So you can essentially, if you go to violations, you can filter by severity there on the top, and you could also filter on policy types. Let's say you want to deal with TLS issues today, you can just focus on these. And there's definitely prioritization, right? So if you have if you're linking domain names that are expired, this should be fixed as soon as possible, right? Because you are one registration away from linking to an attacker. If you have something else, let's say an unpopular site being linked, then maybe you can take your time and decide, well, okay, that's fine, I still trust it. Or, you can eventually say, I will remove the link. And you can always mute an alert. You can say, okay, this is fine. I like the policy. I don't like the specific violation. Just don't show this to me again. And we should be able to give you that option.
So from a technical perspective, it's clear that like you're crawling these links separately.
Yes,
you're not
correct.
having to use, like you're not doing some JavaScript stuff and because like this link is not, like this would be a false positive basically. Because since you're not signed in, you're getting a 429.
Correct.
It's going to
Correct.
happen.
Yes. So exactly. And that would be a case where you say, hey, this is fine. Just,
Right.
Mute. Yeah.
Right.
So we for technical reasons, we cannot do anything from the user's point of view other than collect the links. And then we have our own servers that essentially do the crawling and the checking to raise the right alerts.
Makes sense. I mean, a lot of the SEO checkers do the same type of thing where like yeah, they're going to get a 403 on a login page. I mean, that's, I think there's some extra like feature creep ability of like
Okay,
having an
I'm all
API,
ears.
having an API like for a WordPress site, being able to have a WordPress plugin and then kind of pull in those violations and then have some configuration in WordPress to like, yeah, as soon as that shows up, I want to block that for now,
Right.
and then we can remediate it for like big
Right.
sites that never want to have an issue and like not have no delay.
Right. You're
That'd
right.
be kind of cool.
We do have a WordPress plugin in the works, but it would be just a way for you to make it easier to put in our JavaScript. The part where you're mentioning about essentially white labeling the product and offering it via an API, that will come.
No,
but it
I
will
meant
take a
an
little
API
bit.
to your servers from the like
Right.
have a key on the WordPress site, and then it's like kind of requesting the data.
Yes, I
having
got
to
it.
go to the dashboard.
Right. So you can pretty much stay in your WordPress
Yeah.
site, not have to come over to Link
Yeah.
Sentry. That's what you're
There's
saying. Yeah.
a lot of use cases, like you might have 100 editors, right? And who knows which one of them needs to be like, you don't want them logging into a dashboard like this all the time for bigger
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah. Fair enough. We do part. So I think you're making a great point. I would say part of what we can do right now is essentially the Slack integration. So if you get if you get our high tier right now, you will get an alert the second that, and you can immediately go and, take care of that.
Is that the only integration? Because like surprisingly enough, that we run into a lot of companies that actually don't use Slack. They use different things depending on what, Teams or like some other tools, whatever their internal thing that they have. Is that easy to integrate as integrating into Slack?
So yeah, so everything is available. So I think the story here is that we launched in June. So we are slowly building extra features as they're required, right? So if we have a client, a web agency, whoever that comes and says, hey, you know what, I like this, but you need to integrate with Teams or you need to integrate with that, we will build this for them, right? We just went with Slack because that was sort of, the biggest fish.
Popular one.
Yes. Yeah.
And then if you if there's any feature requests, like is it easy to put the feature request to your team?
Yeah, we would have to build this. So essentially, right now we have 14 ready policies. We actually have 15, but we're hiding the 15th because it's not cost effective for us. So we built a policy that allows you to say, hey, I don't want to be linking to adult websites. And instead of using, let's say, a predefined list of what is an adult website, we are integrating with AI to do that classification on the fly. But the price for us to do that across all your links is higher than what we're currently charging for the Link Sentry subscription. Yeah. So that doesn't work out. So we have to think this a little bit, how we can offer this. And again, at an enterprise level, we could definitely offer this if it's a feature that someone wants for the right price.
Pretty cool.
We were gonna have a question around what's the worst link you've seen on a Fortune 500 site ever linked to? And that was gonna be my answer, actually. I've worked on a number of kid sites, actually, that got hacked. Those linked to adult websites for who knows why. But that was kind of the thing. I feel like that was the thing to do for some reason. Those websites would hack and then put links to them for a long time. And then people figured out, well, I can make money off of this too.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's probably affiliate abuse. So because they,
like they switched to like truly making money and like stealing people's money.
Oh, okay, directly.
Yeah. They figured out that was a better use of it versus just sending people to the porn sites, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, over the summer, we were looking at various kind of educational institutions. We started from New York, and we looked at them because, again, most of them have sites that have been around for 10, 15, 20 years. They are having, large blogs with a lot of links, left, right, and center. And yet, as I mentioned earlier, no one knows what they're linking to anymore. So we're finding a lot of links that are pointing to gambling sites. So we have this blog post on our blog where we say it's essentially, we say from the ivory tower to putting it all on red. It was this security conference actually in 2018. They forgot their domain. They let it expire. An attacker has picked it up and essentially is sending all of the academics who are trying to read papers and stuff from 2018. They're redirecting them. And at the moment, they redirect them to a Thai casino. But of course, that could be whatever they decide to be, down the line. Because once the attacker has a control of the domain name, they can redirect wherever they want on the fly. essentially like an ad company would do.
So in that case, I'm kind of curious, like if they lost the domain, what do they need to do as a security measure immediately once they find out?
Yeah, so pretty much the only thing you can do is if you are someone linking to that site, you have to go in and remove the link, because
Okay.
the domain name now legally belongs to someone else. So you cannot sort of, I suppose if you are a large, Fortune 500 company and you can maybe make a claim that someone is squatting on you, maybe there is a legal process, after 2 years, maybe you can get that domain name back. But in the meantime, I think what you said earlier, Meeky, is that you had to go in for your own domain and change all of the links that were
Yeah.
referring back to the one you lost.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing that's available to the linking sites. And that's sort of what we're trying to make easy with links entry. Instead of you having to do something, page by page, link by link, we do this for you. And we do it automatically because, and continuously, right? Because even if let's say if you were to sit down today and check all of your links of your client, and you say, okay, great, I checked them all, everything is fine. All right, well, you have to do this again tomorrow, right? Because domains can expire, right, in the next 24 hours, right? And then links can change. So we do this essentially 24/7, and we only raise these alerts when it's appropriate for you.
I know my next topic, and you can choose to interact with this or not. We're going to do some critiquing of some other websites.
Okay.
I tried to find people that are in the security space, but not probably direct competitors.
All right.
But you can just be quiet if you need to. And I didn't review these sites yet. I asked ChatGPT, like after we did the write-ups, like, oh, what are some like semi-competitors? And I did quickly look and I was like, oh yeah, these are going to be some good ones to look at. This one was, so we like to critique like usability. We're not going to do security. That's too hard for this kind of topic. I mean, you could do a scan maybe, but like maybe we'll come across something. That would be ironic. That would be horrible. Like I'll let Meeky talk a little bit and I'll scroll.
This one?
Yeah. I mean, you got this typical, that's required.
I mean, the usability is a book of calls right there. So, but what do they do? Can I tell what they do right off the bat? Safeguard.
Do threats.
Okay.
You got
Again, something
that.
about security. So security is one of
Ooh,
those topics
yeah.
that
Well, these are,
it's one of those topics that if you say security, like, oh, right, we need to be alert of that, but it's really hard to know what exactly. You know what I mean? Like, it's like for the average users, even for the people who are technical, like for me, the technical too, because like there are so many different things around it. There's a compliance portion to it. There's other security. And I saw domain things I didn't really know about and a bunch of other things going on. So when they say security, it's like, what exactly are you doing? So I don't know. Like, can you tell by just
like, well, yeah, you could be physical security, you could be digital security.
right. And then like into what degree of security are we talking about? Like, are we talking about compliances? Are we talking about just making sure that my security data is not breached, or is it just more than that?
I don't know, like I move my mouse around a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some usability, like this twitching, like I have a problem with this.
And then it's funny
Like,
that when you do that, it fades
I
out
can't
the
get to it.
image.
I don't know.
So it kind of gives like weird interaction in a way.
Yeah. Well, it's like I mean, it's a relatively current site. I'll give them that. Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, it's definitely a template. I feel like you got these big green dots that are like, they're definitely just the spacing. It's weird that I'm not a designer, but I pick up on these things that I can clearly tell that like this is too much space and it's clearly a template. Like, I don't know. But yeah, the content is one thing. So the other one I think was worse. Let me find it. Well, we'll see. I'll let you guys decide if this is worse. This is a bit aged, I think, website. I have seen something like this similar, but I think this is a bit of an aged website as far as like style.
So again, so what are they security wise? What are they protecting, or what are they telling us to do? Is this compliances? Because like I see all this PCI, SSC, SAQ, a lot of acronyms about some security words.
Yeah, we're not security people though, so
right.
maybe.
But shouldn't you know when you go to the site that what they do?
on their
I mean, like
user.
I
mean, they're probably a very technical. Well,
is this even web security? I mean, there's PCI compliances for like e-commerce stuff, but
all right. So they got to detect product. So that would be a competitor, maybe.
Yeah, I saw some mentioning of JavaScript and skimmers.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
that definitely clicks as a web security offering.
Yeah.
but it's like it doesn't look like there's like there's a dashboard.
I mean, they're a no pricing request a demo type company, so they're too expensive than what I could afford.
You
I
know,
already
we
know
made
that.
that we made that decision consciously, right? Because I didn't like this, contact, talk to someone in sales. So we sort of, you can go to the website, and if you, in a B2C fashion, if you are a website and you just want to buy this product for yourself or a small number of websites, you can just buy it. The price is right there, right? You can get it with Stripe. I don't know if we did the right thing in the end. I think that we could have had a much more expensive product if we had a similar, talk to sales kind of button.
Same time, that gives you confidence that you're so confident about your product that people will just see it.
I've had to do a request a demo or talk to sales on a $29 a month plan.
Okay.
Couldn't buy the plan for $30 without going through a sales demo. And it was a 2-hour demo. The guy, and it was great. Like, he told me everything about the thing. I'm like, you just spent 2 hours. How are you ever making this money back? Like, if I use it for years, but like,
he's hoping you'll tell your friends.
but then they would have to go through it also.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah. For a $30 a month plan, give me a 15-day trial, and like, you guys have a trial. Like those are the now typical. They get you might want to up market into an enterprise,
right?
But you can still have the lower tier plans and have an enterprise with way more requests, way more page views, all the things and all the features that have a demo.
Yeah, like some people that we talk to, they essentially want us to. They don't want our JavaScript to be dynamically injected into their page because they're worried about that part. So now we have to develop sort of a self-contained JavaScript that they host on their own server, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be kind of part of the customization for the enterprise level, along with, again, unique integrations, policies that you want that are not ready supported. So yeah, we could definitely offer these things.
That is one irony on your product that I have to add JavaScript.
Because of the I know, because of the link.
How much do I trust a site that tells me I shouldn't trust sites?
It had to be done, it's the one it's the one foothold we need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would go with like coloring and like the font size. How do I get
this site is just
the
very
whole page? The logo is in the middle. I have not seen a middle logo.
what's the red dot that's blinking on the corner?
Where that must be something in the sharing. I don't see it.
Oh, okay. So
I don't see that dot. That must be something in the sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the recording for us. I was like, what are you talking about?
I'll edit that out.
I mean,
but I guess, is that their brand color? Although it's hard to tell what their brand color is on this thing.
like part of their logo. I mean,
but it's not on the logo from the middle. Oh, it is.
That's a different color. Look at that color, way dark, and then that color, which is
no, it's because it's your eyes doing that, because it's
I can't
background versus dark background versus the light background.
Okay. Oh, you have actually.
But this is also, it's like the colors for the people who are colorblind. They have a lot of colors that are kind of not contrasting enough. So this might not be something that's accessibility wise. It's good because it's that green and the reddish.
Red green, almost purple. Yeah. It's the purple red.
Yeah, I'm not colorblind, but it's hard to read that font on the green button.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. I don't know. I like your guys' looks. I mean, I'm biased now that you're here.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
But also, it's a good design to just kind of like
this is a very clear, very easy to read, very current. I'm sure you guys use a template.
Of course, yeah.
I assume. I mean,
like everyone else.
We are. So,
but also, even if you're using templates, if you use it right, it doesn't look templatized. It's like you need to use it right. And also, this is talking about when we go with the audience experience, user experience for this is like you need to find the information you went there for easy enough. You don't want user to or audience to or customers to go there and try to figure out like you have to go through this 2-hour demo to get the pricing. It's like that's not a good experience. It's
We
like
we
it's
do want to
not
start offering demos also, but it will not be 2 hours.
right.
We don't
Well,
charge
just do
enough for
that.
that.
Do video demos, and then
Yeah.
people can access it anytime. And that's,
Exactly.
Right.
like, that's
So if
their
you're really
workflow to get a
curious, you
bunch of
can watch
videos.
it. Yeah.
Yep, that's fair.
I mean, it saves you money, but it also just saves people time.
I don't know if it's like I was actually talking to someone about this because we're from East Coast New York area. I lived in New York for years, like 9 years in Jersey for 9 years. Like we're kind of in New York area, so I almost started to questions like, am I impatient or is it is it that it's like a New York thing that I lived there for
No,
so long I became
no,
impatient?
now. Give me it now.
No, but like even like trying to get an information, like something like what I mentioned before, like when you go to the website, I want to find out what I went there for right away. I don't want it to be a hassle to go through like the customer service to figure out what's going on. But I'm trying to figure out like, is it that I'm getting impatient or is it just a really bad design?
You're getting older too, Mickey, so it's all blended in there. Like I'm the
Well,
same.
if you get older,
The older
shouldn't
I
you be
get,
more
the more
patient?
No, that's when you're like retired older. Then you're like, you got nothing to do.
It's like that's exactly the things that I complained to you about. Like when I moved to Florida, there's so many retirees. Like everything is
Yeah,
just
they're
so
past that
slow.
and they have nothing else to do. So that's different. Yep. All right.
Right? Fine. So that's me, not the world.
Right. Well, I think I don't have anything else.
I do have a question. So for the security, someone who doesn't know anything about it, non-technical people, what should they be? Anything that you say that you need to know at least like 3 things, what would that be
You mean in general?
in general? Yeah.
I think this would be sort of let's say the most standard things would be, like not reusing passwords across accounts and across sites, like essentially relying on a password manager. I don't think you can survive anymore without a password manager. So that should be, something that goes there. Then I think, which is sort of related to link entry, is that whenever you or your developers integrate with the outside world, you are extending your attack surface just a little bit. So you shouldn't be willy-nilly building software that's just pulling 100 things from 100 places, right? To the extent that you can keep things under your control, that's good. And then I would say sort of continuous monitoring, right? Whether it is about your links or about your own computers, having an automated process that checks things, all the time so that if there's ever an issue, you are the first to know about it rather than your own users and then, your own lost leads and lost sales. I don't know if that's specific enough.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like we want to, because like sometimes like we're kind of like both have technical backgrounds, so like sometimes we tend to talk very technical things, not considering that some people might not even understand what we're talking about. So I want to make sure that like someone who's not that technical, what can they be on the lookout for would be very helpful, and then that's actually easy enough to kind of remember, and even though they might have heard it from somewhere in pieces, but it's actually very important. That's why you're reiterating that.
Right. Yeah. Don't try to watch free movies. Don't don't reuse passwords. That kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
free is not free.
That's right.
Don't use AI tools to build web applications that are
That would
production.
that would not be a good idea. Yes.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
think there's one
yeah.
episode, I think, where we were trying to build e-commerce site. Like we wanted to see how far vibe coding can go. It literally broadcasted everything. He
All the
even put a credit
credentials.
card number, and we didn't even know where that went.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's not there yet. So don't
That's right.
do that.
That's right.
I mean, it is if you built, but as soon as you put one more prompt, who knows where the next thing goes unless you're monitoring everything at that point. I'm not going to completely diss AI for development. There's a lot of great uses. There's a lot of, like we were talking, like you guys don't put AI in this, thank you, or at least say. But
Yes.
there's going to be plenty of uses for AI to like
Right.
monitor, like you talked
Exactly.
about like making sure that there's somewhat valid or whatever. Like there's uses for it.
Mhm.
they're expensive. They're going to get a lot more expensive too as we start to pay for power. But
Exactly.
that's a different topic. Okay.
So the website is linksentry.io. We own all the big TLDs. So if you type .com, you will still get to us. And, we are, as I said, if someone wants to try this, we have a 7-day free trial. If you cancel before that, it's free through Stripe. And then if someone, if they have questions or if they want something custom, we're available. So it's, we have a newsletter, and we also have an email address that we're 3 co-founders. So pretty much, someone's email will hit all 3 of us, and we would be happy to kind of answer any questions or talk about anything customized that someone may want to build.
Yeah, we'll actually put the links under, like, when we publish this, then we'll.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, yeah, cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, this was very educational.
Oh, I'm happy. That's good. Yeah, and now I have to go do some more education for my day job.
I could figure out how to taste this as shark delicious.
All right.
This is one of those things that I kind of want to keep it. I don't know if it's gonna get discontinued and it's become one of those things, but we'll see.
It will be worth $4 instead of $2.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be rock hard.
All right. Anyways, all right. So thanks for joining us, and then
Thank you very much.
yeah. Stay tuned for the next episode on Monday afternoon.